Let's go. Yeah!
This is the Morning Swim Show for Thursday, March 10th, 2011. I'm your host, Peter Bush. In the Phoenix Monitor today, we'll talk to Bob Bowman. He's the CEO of North Baltimore Aquatics and, of course, the longtime coach of Michael Phelps. Bob Bowman joins us right now in the Phoenix Monitor from Baltimore, Maryland. Coach, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Thanks, Peter. It's good to be back. Doing well.
So, Michael has a great weekend, wins 5 events. Elizabeth Pelton breaks an American record at another meet. What went so right for North Baltimore Aquatics last weekend, and why?
Well, I think as a team, we always try to split the year in half. So March is a time where we traditionally swim fast, and the whole team swam well, not just those two. Across the board, we had some really excellent swims.
So what do you mean by March you try to swim fast? Was there tapering and shaving going on?
I think it's part of the American culture, right? All the college teams have their conference meets and the NC2As during this time of year, and it's just part of our culture to do the same thing. We had a Maryland State Championship meet, and we had the Indy Grand Prix, which kind of coincided with that. So we try to have everybody close to the same page so that we can sort of wrap up our short course season or our winter season and then get into preparations for the summer. So they did have a little bit of rest. It was varied depending on who they were.
Okay, where was Michael on the scale of 10 being, as rested as he could be? Because if I'm not mistaken, he had just come in from high altitude training.
Right. I would say he was probably a 4 or 5. He was somewhere in the middle. Elizabeth and some of our high school girls were fully rested for their meet because I thought that that's what they really needed to do, to put up some times, which some of them needed for college recruiting or just to see what they could do. Michael was somewhere in between, and then I had another group that was, I would say not rested really at all.
Okay. So by design, you wanted them to all have a good weekend of swimming.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
But has there been a difference, either cracking the whip or something with Michael's mentality that has changed in the past few months? Because I don't have to tell you, we were starting to doubt him a little bit in 2010, but he seems to be right back to where he needs to be.
Well, I think the closer we get to the London Olympic Games, the more dialed in he is. And he's definitely much more focused and committed now than he was, say, 6 months ago. So I think as we get closer, that will just increase. So that's the difference.
Can you give me an example? I mean, what's something that illustrates how much more committed he is? An extra practice or just his intensity in practice?
I think it's a combination. He's definitely coming to practice more. He's coming to a full program of practices, and also within that, he's just a lot more focused in the sets and trying to push himself a lot harder.
Do you and Michael have any interest in a Beijing repeat in 2012?
I would say it will be hard to repeat Beijing, and we're trying to create something new. So both of us are working towards some goals that he has set, but it really isn't a repeat of Beijing.
Now, what do you mean by that? Create something new by still swimming 5 individual events, but a different one or two, or just?
I think it'll be a different program, and I'm not sure that we'll even lay 8 events out there. It might be less than that.
Is there any swimmer, namely Ryan Lochte, that can repeat what Michael did in Beijing?
Well, I think there are people out there capable of it. It's very, very difficult to do, and as we saw, you not only have to be incredibly prepared, not only have to be on the top of your game, but you have to have a couple breaks go your way. So I think that makes it pretty difficult.
Are we going to be talking about Elizabeth Pelton as a medal contender next year?
I hope so. I think she definitely has the potential to develop to that level. Yeah.
What is something, that would take her from the potential to there's no doubt in your mind that next year she can be on the podium?
A strong performance this summer in Shanghai. She just needs experience.
Needs some of that international experience going against the big dogs, so to speak?
Exactly. Just stepping up in that environment when everyone is at their best and, basically being able to give her best performance under the pressure of that kind of competition.
I imagine in a way you want to see the same thing from Michael.
Oh, absolutely. We want to see that from everybody who's training with us. So, yeah, that's something we really value is the ability to get the best out of themselves under the most pressure possible.
And what I mean is Michael, admittedly, at least to the media, has said that he hasn't really been pleased with with a full meet since 2009.
Right.
So this summer, I guess if he continues this progress, if he does well, wins a couple of gold medals at World Championships, you guys will probably both feel more comfortable that he's in position to be a superstar again in London?
I'd say that's true. Quite frankly, I feel like he's in that position now. His performance this past weekend has shown that he can swim, at or near the top level virtually any time. Now, the question is, can we go a level beyond what he did in Indianapolis? I think so, and he knows what he needs to do to achieve that. So I'm pretty confident with that, and I feel like he is too.
Is backstroke more likely now that Pearsall's out of the mix?
I don't know if it's more likely because of Aaron. I think backstroke is something that Michael's always wanted to do, and I've always wanted him to do. It just rarely fits into a program. So I think you will see him do that in the meets leading up to Shanghai and maybe in the meets leading up to London. Where that fits in the Olympic program is still unsure.
Do you think that the American men are going to be able to win all three relays next year when you look at the world landscape right now? I know it's possible, but would you say it's likely?
I'd say it's very difficult. I think it's possible if we have all four guys firing, and prepared. The Russians are going to be very strong in the 800 relay, which is something we haven't had recently, which is a challenge in that event. We're going to be very strongly challenged there. The 400 is always a challenge, 400 freestyle relay from the French and others. And, the world's just catching up. So all of the relays are going to be highly contested, and everybody values relay gold. So we'll be in the hunt, but it'll be tough.
And what is that flag over your shoulder or whatever's framed behind you? What is that?
It's the flag from Beijing that the team signed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Your dad's on there somewhere.
Well, he's looking forward to you guys coming up to Colorado Springs now for those training sessions again.
That's right, and we're glad to have him there. We know that he's going to do a great job in his new position.
Well, Coach, how you doing personally?
Great. Awesome.
Cool. Well, we know that horse racing season's coming up, so good luck betting on the ponies, and we'll talk to you this. We'll talk to you this summer.
Sounds good, Peter. Thanks a lot.
All right, that's Coach Bob Bowman joining us from Maryland, and that is it for today's show. I'm Peter Bush, reminding you to keep your head down at the finish.